Being called to order, Ms. Cook, can you please say invocation, and Ms. Liz, the pledge, please?
Lord God and giver of all good gifts, we are grateful as we pause before this meeting for all the blessings of life that you give us. Daily, we are fed with good things, nourished by friendship and care, feasted with forgiveness and understanding. And so mindful of your continuous care, we pause to be grateful for the blessings of this community. May your presence be here with us tonight as you guide us through our business. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We welcome you to the Lafayette City Council meeting. As presiding officer and chair, I would like to announce the following. This is a public hearing. To address the council on any item on this agenda, please fill out the speaker form and submit it to the clerk prior to the call of the agenda item, or you will not be given the opportunity to speak. Items for submission to the council should be handed to Council Clerk Ms. Veronica Williams, seated to my left in the middle. When addressing the council, state your name and title for the official record. The 3-minute rule will be in effect. No debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. The front row to my left is for media only. Food and drinks are not allowed in the auditorium. Please silence all phones and electronic devices. Meeting procedures are by resolutions and not by Robert Rules of Order. All documents with reference to meetings can be found on the LCG website. And finally, the council encourages your involvement in boards or commissions. If interested, please call 337-291-8800. That is 291-8800. Council member Liz Lazar, Glenn Lazar. Glenn Lazar
Don't tell my husband.
is unable to attend. Item number 12, 13, and 14, JO 106-2020, JO-107-2020, and JO-108-2020, relative to local disaster and/or emergency declarations, have proposed amendments by legal to remove the public bid law exemption in Section 3 of each ordinance. Y'all got that, huh? Okay. Item number 17, JO 111-2020, relative to Chapter 89, Code Changes, has a proposed amendment by Development and Planning to correct typos in Article 2 and 3. Items number 20, CO-109-2020, relative to 709 North San Antonio Street rezoning, is being deferred indefinitely prior to introduction, given the applicant has found another location for her business and is no longer requesting the rezoning. Y'all need to listen to this very careful. I would like to wish Councilman Cook a happy birthday, which she celebrates today. It's kind of, it's very seldom that somebody's birthday is on this day of the meeting.
39.
Lucky you.
39.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, I'm 40 now.
40,
I
okay.
turned 40.
Come on. Okay. On behalf of the council, I would like to offer my condolence to the family of Mr. Rod Hamilton, who recently passed. He served honorably in the Korean War, was an advocate for vets, and served in city government as an elected official prior to consolidation. As we remember Mr. Hamilton, let us all keep the family lifted in prayers. Due to election day requirements, the council meetings for November and December have been on the first and the third Wednesday of each month instead of the first and third Tuesdays. Meeting will return to the typical first and third Tuesday in January. Okay. And myself, I would like to, being this is the last meeting of this year, 2020, We will not meet again until next year in 2021. I'd like to wish everyone, the council, the clerk, the staff, everyone, the administration, happy holidays. Enjoy your holidays. Try not to eat too much. I know that's going to be hard. And plus the people that's here and the one that's looking at AOC, happy holidays. I'd like to bring someone that have done I want to say a terrific job in campaigning. I'd like to recognize City Marshal-elect Reggie Thomas. Come up and say a few words, please. I didn't forget.
Mr. Pat Lewis for having me here today. Back in front of the city council again, with a smile on my face. That's a little different than normal. And Mayor Sidra, can't forget V. I have been with this city for the last 30 years and at the police department. I decided that I wanted to continue to work with the community, so I ran for city marshal. 7 days a week I walked, I knocked on doors in front of very unconventional, I guess, the way I ran for the office. In front of one of the things that I learned, if you stay in front of Super One and help people with their bags to the car and then give them your card, that works. So that works. But I started off with, of course, a campaign manager, but ended up with my wife, Lisa Thomas, who's here, who ended up being my campaign manager and turned my campaign around. Also, Wallace Senegal was with me the entire time. I couldn't shake him. He was with me. So I want to thank him, too. That's my guy.
Couldn't shake it.
Lisa, you come on up. She started off at the beginning. She didn't want any part of it. She said, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it on your own.
Typical spouse.
At the end, she took over and became my campaign manager, and she did an excellent job. And this is where we're at now. So love you. Thank you. I'm excited to be the next city marshal. I have been back and forward to the city marshal's office. I guess they're saying that he's here more now than when he actually starts the job, you know. So I'm around there doing different things. Was able to get a really good transition team. And right now, we're going to look at every aspect of the city marshal's office, and we're going to do a plan. The plan will not only be just the city marshal's office, but it also will be in the community. I want to plan on what can the city marshals do in the community. What types of programs can we start in city court? And, you know, who we want to work with minors, we want to work with just anybody in the city and just get the city marshal where it's supposed to be and where everybody is talking about the city marshal and nobody is asking what does the city marshal do. And we will show everybody what we do, and we will do a great job at it. So I just want to thank the entire city of Lafayette, everybody who voted for me, everybody who supported me, and even the people that did not vote for me. We want to bring everybody together, and we want to be a community. Myself and the mayor had a long conversation, about an hour and a half, in reference to just coming together, and everybody's coming together, and I really like that. And I will be working with the community. I will be doing, you'll see me out there day in and day and night. So I'm just excited. I don't know when the smile will leave my face, but right now it's on my face, and I'm going to keep it there. So thank everybody, and I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, City Marshal. Okay, Ms. Cook, you have something you'd like to?
I do. Am I on? Yes. All right, I have another introduction, too, that I'm excited about. We have a new tennis director here in Lafayette, and I'm going to ask him to come forward, Calvin Kemp. And we are very lucky to have him. He has traveled all over the world playing tennis. He is going to be, here, you can come to this one, Calvin. And he is going to be the director at Beaver and Thomas Park, and I'm looking forward to the programming that he's going to bring to Lafayette. So I'm going to let Calvin say a few words, and we're very excited to have you, and thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I'm going to be moving from Atlanta next week. I'll move in on Tuesday, the 22nd. And so I'm super excited. My wife is also going to be moving down here with me. And I would like to take a moment to thank Kathy, the president of the Community Tennis Association, as well as Bill Phillips, who works with the USTA, for all of his involvement in making this happen. And they showed me all around Lafayette today. I eat a lot of good restaurants. And so I'm really excited to be here and to get into to become a part of the community. And I can't wait for the opportunity to start. So thank you.
We're excited to. Thank you, Calvin. And we kind of get a 2-for-1 with Calvin because his wife is also a tennis player. In fact, that y'all met playing in Georgia, and
Correct.
so she's so we're getting we're getting some pros into the city. So we're glad y'all are both coming. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just want you to know you're going to gain a lot of weight out here. Mr. Mayor?
We have other council comments.
Oh, comments? Okay, I'm sorry. You already spoke, huh?
Yeah, I'm done.
Mr. Nakane?
You on?
Yeah.
I'm on? Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure people are aware that as much as I appreciate what we have here in Lafayette, we really are a jewel. One of our biggest jewels is our utility system. And they received a national commendation for the work they've done during the course of the hurricanes. On October 29th, they sent down crews to assist the Houma area in reestablishing their services there, and did a tremendous job in Terrebonne Parish. And this is just a sample of the interaction we have amongst our utility companies in this area and throughout this country, actually. So I want to thank all those that contribute, all those that help and assist, because it's such an important service for us. And I think we all really realize how lucky we are to have what we have here. Thank you to Mr. Labe, Mr. Dion, and everybody else involved at LUS that take care of this for us. I mean, we walk around carelessly and just turn on the switch and there it is, or do whatever we have to do and it works. Flush the toilet and it goes away. I mean, we're just blessed. So thank you to everyone who serves in these capacities, and congratulations on the commendation. Y'all deserve it.
Ms. Hebert?
Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to let my fellow council members know that the last couple of days, as you all know, and I serve on the Police Chief Search Committee, and that you guys appointed me to, so thank you again for that. The last couple of days, we have met with did some interviews with the 6 candidates that applied and did the civil service agreement. We then narrowed it down to 3 candidates today that are going to go to the mayor for his selection. I wanted to tell you it was really great to have a city council member on the panel, because I found that I was able to provide a different perspective as far as the things that we deal with, and I know that you deal with from your constituents. Most of you send me feedback on questions that you would like to see. I was also able to get questions answered by residents of Lafayette and even some Lafayette Parish School System students. So really great conversations. I enjoyed serving with my fellow panel judges, and I look forward to seeing who the mayor chooses. He's got 3 great people to choose from, so it will not be an easy decision. So best of luck to you, Mayor. And that is all. Just wanted to let you all know. I don't have them in front of me, and I don't know if it's made public yet, but just wanted to let you all know the interviews are over, and I look forward to working with a new police chief. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, your turn.
Thank you to the public who took the time to attend this meeting with us. We appreciate your input and appreciate your participation. Have several things to run by the council and to the public. First and foremost, I asked our new marshal to stick around just for a little bit, and I know he's busy, and he and his beautiful wife agreed to just stick around just a few more minutes. You know, the marshal-elect, and I can't wait to call you marshal officially, January 8th, 1 p.m., right? Yeah. Okay? It's my birthday, me and Hollis Conway, by the way. So, but I'll tell you, our new marshal gave me an hour and a half of his time on Friday, and, you know, he was endorsed in his campaign by, correct me if I'm wrong, but the longest-serving marshal, that's Nikki Picard. And just in that brief meeting with our new marshal, I can see why. You have a man of integrity in Marshal Picard that endorsed a man with integrity. That I am convinced will do the right thing even when no one's looking. And that's what we want. I really believe our city is going to have a breath of fresh air in that office. Whether you voted for Mr. Giudice, whether you voted for Mr. Thomas, I know we can all wrap our arms around this new marshal and give him our prayers, give him our support, and do everything that we can so that he can fulfill the promises that he made. And I'm going to tell you, he didn't make promises that I don't think he'll be able to keep. I think he'll be able to keep every single promise he made. But I'm looking forward to working with him. I really am. And I'm telling you, I know it's the first of many meetings, Marshall. I hope that you afford me, and I know you're committed to that. But let's think about what he said. You know, look, city court, he has wonderful ideas. I'll spare you the details, and he can show you with his actions, but not just city court. We talked about his involvement and his deputy marshal's involvement in downtown where they're housed. That's their home. You know, look at the synergy we're going to be able to have working with his office and under his leadership and partnership. Community walks. You know, we kind of were a little handcuffed a little bit during COVID on the LPD side to do this, but under his leadership, when he was with LPD, you know, he brought these community walks. So he'll be able to bring that leadership to the marshal's office, but also partner with the Lafayette Police Department, and you have two agencies, and I'm confident that other agencies will join us in that, so that we can get feedback from our public and implement those ideas. So, you know, Marshall, I'm thrilled to be able to have that opportunity to work with you, and you're smart, by the way, in your campaign manager. I had similar situation there. Both the initial reaction and the end result. So, you know, thank you. All right. Also, Mr. Chair, we have, I'll piggyback off what Councilwoman Hebert said. In our police chief search committee, we actually have 3 members. So we have Councilwoman Hebert, and thank you to her service, and thank you to the council for appointing her. Also, Mr. Wallace Senegal, who is one of our committed citizens. He gave me a card that says community activist, and he has it since concerned community activist since 1998-ish, but involved longer. But Mr. Wallace, look, these guys don't get paid. You know, he volunteered his time, and it was. And I can tell you, I know the chairman personally reached out to me when we made that decision, and he's grateful. I'm grateful. And then we also have our newly elected marshal, who, in the middle of his transition, okay, took the time to come spend some time on the committee to give his thoughts and his experience and his feedback. So thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Mr. Senegal. Thank you, Councilwoman, and thank you to the many committee members that serve. Also, some fresh air here in Lafayette. Our tennis pro. Now, you do know when you sign that contract, it says you have to pull for the Saints, right? Well, come here with that Georgia Atlanta Falcons stuff now, okay? We'll feed you well, but you got to pull for the Saints. No, I'm kidding. But I'm excited about this because, look, and thank you, Councilwoman Cook, for your involvement as well. You know, this is the first public-private partnership that we had in Parks and Recreation. And this is, you know, we said at the last council meeting, you know, right off the bat, we're going to save the taxpayers roughly $100,000 year one, and you're going to get a better product. You're going to get better service. You know, ACTA, our new tennis pro, the community involvement in that particular facility and program, it's very refreshing. Good things are happening in Lafayette, and it's because of everyone. You know, everyone. So thank you, guys. And Mr. Chair, I believe that is all I have. And again, Marshall and Mrs. Thomas, thank you guys for sticking around, and congratulations. I look forward to the future. It's bright. God bless you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to resolution. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read item number 5.
City Resolution 38, 2020. A resolution of the Lafayette City Council approving the application for restoration tax abatement submitted by OFCH LLC, David Weinstein, for participation in the State of Louisiana Restoration Tax Abatement Program, 705 Jefferson Street.
Okay, I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Liz Hebert. Council discussion. I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
We do have one speaker, Anita Begnaud. And as she comes up, we did have one citizen who signed in, did not wish to speak, who supports the resolution.
Good evening, everyone. Anita Begnaud. I'm the CEO of the Downtown Development Authority. Thank you for having us tonight. I wanted to just submit a letter of support from the DDA board on the record from the Downtown Development Authority supporting this resolution tonight. We are very excited about the old federal courthouse project. It's been something we've talked about for a long time, in particular because it's putting a building and a property that's been vacant and has not been collecting any property taxes for decades back on the tax rolls for both the city and the parish, and because it's going to create vibrancy downtown. You all know that the Downtown Action Plan really supports adding residential to the downtown area because it is the missing component in helping downtown to reach its fullest potential, and this will be a huge addition to the residential downtown. So thank you for your support of this resolution. We look forward to continuing to work with these developers as well as any future developers who want to develop downtown. That was a lot of develops. And utilizing economic development tools like this one, which helps to keep our downtown competitive. So thank you.
No other speakers, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's vote from the council to adopt this resolution.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Joint resolutions. This is a public hearing and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read item number 6.
Joint Resolution 43, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council adopting a Louisiana compliance questionnaire as a required part of Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government's annual financial and compliance audit.
Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Nakane. Council discussion. I see there's none. Ms. Williams, public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote to adopt the resolution.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Resolution 44, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the filing of applications for the FEMA fiscal year 2020 Flood Mitigation Assistance and Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Competitive Grants from the State of Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness.
Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Nakane. Council discussion. See there's none. Ms. Williams, public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote to adopt the resolution.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Resolution 45, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the filing of a grant application with the National League of Cities for a Leadership in Community Resilience Grant.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Council discussion. None. Any public comments?
No, sir.
Vote to adopt the resolution.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Report and our discussion items. Jeremy, please read item number 9.
OUS update on data capable and outage map software.
Okay. I'll give the floor to Ms. Cook.
Thank you, Chairman. As someone, I guess Jeff or Lowell, yes, someone had reached out to me about having this capability for the residents of Lafayette, and when I reached out to LUS, y'all were already doing that. Y'all are already moving in that direction, so I appreciate the update today, so everybody knows that it is an actual thing, so thank y'all for coming.
Sure thing.
Good evening, council members. Lowell Duyon, Interim Director of Lafayette Utilities, and as Ms. Cook says, at her request, I've asked Jeff Stewart, our Engineering and Power Supply Manager, to put together a brief PowerPoint presentation on the data-capable software, its capabilities, and how it will eventually tie into our upcoming outage management system. It's pretty exciting stuff, as you'll see, and so I'll turn it on over to you, Jeff.
Okay, thank you, Lowell. Thank you, Ms. Cook. This is going to be an interactive presentation. I would ask that anybody who wants to participate get their phones ready, their laptops ready. We will direct you to a website in a moment, and it will be interactive, and we'll show you at least what some capabilities are with this map. For a while now, we've been trying to figure out how we can interact with our customers better, how we can bridge the gap of communication, especially when you're out of power or out of service. And what we've come across is a company called Data Capable. We've engaged with them for a couple of years now to try to figure out how can we merge all of our information, how can we compile it in a way that's easy to see, easy to visually understand, and then interact with our customers through their platform. Data Capable is designed for, but not limited by, utilities functions. And so it was designed with utilities in mind, but it has a lot of other features and capabilities out there that we're going to eventually roll out. And so think of it as an outage map initially, but it's really more of an information display. Benefits of the outage map, one of the primary things is that when we do have a service interruption, we're not looking to stop what we're doing and answer phone calls. Maybe we have call centers, we have dispatch, we have things set up, but when you start getting inundated with the amount of phone calls we receive, we want to be able to display information quicker, get information to a customer so they're, number one, they're not calling in wondering if we know what's going on. We'll let them know. We'll be proactive in presenting that information to them. So it's going to hopefully reduce the call volume so we can get down to what we need to. It's also going to, we think of it as a better way to communicate in 2020, heading into 2021. We need to be a little bit more proactive with our customers. We need to be engaged in a different way. Not everybody wants to make a phone call. And so we're going to try to give the general public, but our customers specifically, an opportunity to get information about what's going on in our system. All the information that we're going to display on this map are things that we know about, things that are happening on our system. We just don't always have an easy way to tell people what's going on. Not everybody reads press releases, not everybody follows Facebook or whatever. So this is going to be a much easier, much more efficient way of portraying that information. It's very integratable, so the service itself, it just provides a path for us to get our information visually displayed, and then from there, we'll talk about some of the features in a moment. It's also desktop and mobile friendly, so you don't have to pick and choose or even develop an app to be able to utilize this service. The view itself is just like any map, any Google map or whatever maps you might use to get directions or whatever. Street displays and everything else will be on there. We're going to roll the outage map out first, and so it's going to be a very manual process. And so when we know there's an outage, we're going to have to go in and create an event. We call it an event. What Data Capable allows us to do is display what the functions are happening at LUS. And so electric power outages, it could be boil water advisories, it could be tree trimming, plans. It could be planned outages. Occasionally we have to take weekend and night outages at different locations in order to service something. It could be road closures. It could be a number of things. We're going to roll out street light repairs. So at one time in the future, we're going to drop our street lights on the map and allow people to report outages that way. In the future, we're going to be able to automate more things. It's going to be very manual up front, but as we get familiar with this process, as our customers become familiar with the map, we're going to become more automated as we do things. The reason why we want to take baby steps on it is because this is a new product for us, a new platform for us. But secondly, we have internal business processes that we're not wanting to interrupt. We're good at responding to storms and outages and things, but we don't want to interrupt that process of restoring true service to be able to display information. So we have to take it very carefully over time and roll out things, I guess, in a deliberate way. What we're going to do initially is ask it could be customers, but it could be the general public. We're not going to have the ability to automatically notify you of outages. We're not rolling that out yet. We have a few more things to do in-house before we can get to that point. But whenever an event is created, and it can be anything, you'll have the ability to subscribe to that event, and then you'll be notified when that event closes. So there's a power outage and it takes out a neighborhood. Everybody in that neighborhood knows their power's out. They can go to this map. They don't have to call because they'll see an event as it's created. They can subscribe to that outage, and they'll know when things are getting done. And once that power is restored, they'll get a notification either by email or text letting them know everything should be good. And if you have a problem at that point, call us, and we'll make sure we get somebody out to take a look at it. But so right now, it's going to be a communication that we're going to be offering their information. People have to subscribe as we develop more internal processes and update a few of our systems. We're going to have the ability for you as a customer to log in with your account information, subscribe to notifications to your home or your business, and then you'll get those automatic notifications. But anybody at any time can log into the website. It's open to the public and subscribe. The customers affected is another thing. We'll have a better idea or at least be able to display publicly how many customers are out. That includes residential and commercials along with the highlights. You'll see in those boxes we have different images or different icons depending on the level of outage. So we'll have a certain icon for a smaller outage, and you can just tell by that image or that icon how grand the outage could be and how much effort it will go into it. Boil water advisory is the same way. We can highlight the area. So if you are under boil water advisory, subscribe to that notification, and once it's lifted, you'll get that automatic response. So that's just a couple of features. There's going to be other things where eventually we're going to roll out the ability to report an outage from this map. We're not there yet. We'll have the ability, like I said earlier, for you to subscribe as a customer to outage notifications. We're not quite there yet, but it's coming. It's going to be coming over the next few months. We're developing currently an outage management system in-house with a vendor. In 2022, we're going to publish that outage management system, and then there'll be a lot more integration with it, and so things will become more automated and more real-time. Multiple map views. I mean, y'all have all the different types of maps on different apps on your phone or different websites. You can see the satellite view, the night view, in case you don't want that bright, blinding light at night. It just has those same capabilities and same features. It's going to look almost like, a regular, map, but we'll have our information overlaid on top of it to give that more geographic perspective. As I said, the initial go live, it's going to be a lot of manual inputs on this, and so we're going to take baby steps on it. But going from what we have today, which is nothing, to this is going to be a big step for us. We're going to have unplanned outages, scheduled outages, boil water advisories, and some other small features. Eventually, we'll get to some more interactive and more automated processes. Right now, you'll have to subscribe to the event, but it's going to change over time and allow a little bit more automation. The demo, I'd like everybody in the audience too, if you want to participate, go to this specific website and you'll see the map, and I'll give everybody a moment to get there. And you can subscribe by email or by phone, so we're not going to send you crazy text messages or whatever later, so don't be afraid of that. It's all protected information. So as you go to the page, it's lus.org/map, and it's kind of in a test environment right now. And you'll see something. I'm going to show the screenshot of what you should see next. Just I'm going to give everybody another moment here. And 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Okay, we've had enough time to look at it. This is what you should see, whether you're on your mobile device or a laptop or whatever. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can subscribe to this event. On the far left side, you'll see a blue icon. It looks like two chat bubbles or whatever. You can click on it, and you'll see the subscribe option. You can also click on the event yourself, one click, and you'll see a pop-up screen, details. Click on the details, and then you'll get to the subscribe button as well. So either way it will work. When you have a lot of events on a page, it may be easier to click on it directly as trying to go find it in the overall. But either the blue icon on the left side of the screen or the shaded area on the map itself. Subscribe. You can subscribe by SMS text message, or you can subscribe by your email address. I'll give everybody a moment to do that as well. Again, don't worry. We're not going to do anything with your email or phone number. And, we are, stats prove that we are pretty fast at restoring services. So, I'm going to magically say that this event is over. We have restored all power. And once that event gets cleared out, you should get a notification that the event is clear. All of these things will change over time. We will get a little bit more details about different functions. And this, the event itself can be anything utility related. It doesn't have to be necessarily power outages. It could be, work we're doing on a road and we have to close something. It could be anything that we're doing. Have we closed the event yet? All right, so that will get updated momentarily. You should have gotten your message. And I got mine. And so it says the issue has been resolved or has been marked as complete. You'll no longer receive notifications about this. So that's part of the first phase. Once an outage is identified, an event is created on a map, you'll have the ability to subscribe to that and get all the messaging related to that event. Baby steps, step one of many to come, and we're going to be incorporating more and more information, more and more data over time. But this is a huge first step for us to getting to where we ultimately want to be and where we can be. And so with that, I'll certainly entertain any questions or comments or even feedback from tonight.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I mean, this is kind of exciting. I think this is great for the public to have this, ability to do this. Will there be, like what we just did, are there directions, say, on the website as far as how to describe, or can we put that?
We will put that.
Okay.
It's a really good point, and I, in fact, struggled with some of this earlier last week when we were going through it, that we will have instructions, kind of step by step, like a how-to document that they can log in, or you just click on it and get an idea of what to do. And so, yeah, absolutely, we'll have a guide on that website. Whenever we do publish it, we'll probably come back and let you know we're going to be publishing it, but we'll have all that data there as well for people to figure out how to do it.
Okay, that sounds great. And if you could you send us that PowerPoint to the council too?
Sure, absolutely.
Just to
Yes,
have
we can.
that as background too?
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you
Sure.
coming.
Jeff, my question, I know I'd asked this probably a couple of years ago, and I can't recall your answer, but I see something about street light repairs.
Yes.
And my question is that with all the lights that LUS owns and what have you, when a street light goes out, you guys do not have any type of mechanism that you all already know from your office that you can send somebody out and repair the street light instead of someone calling in?
Right now, no, but we do have a plan in place, the big LED upgrade. Part of that upgrade is going to include a control system on every light. So we will absolutely know before anybody calls in that there's an outage. And so what we plan on doing with that control system is integrating it with our CityWorks, which is kind of how we do our internal ticketing, and allow, we'll dispatch somebody before anybody calls sometimes. And so it's coming. We've been pushed back. I don't want to blame COVID for anything, but just the ability to get some things done. We've had to kind of push our LED streetlight project back a little bit, but our planned kickoff, true installation kickoff, is going to be summer of 2021. We think about an 18-month deployment, and so by 18 months after, we should have the complete city covered with new LED streetlights. Included in that deployment will be a new control system where we'll have the ability even to control the lights themselves if we think they're too bright, or we can even, we can even talk about like some different ways of dimming and brightening in different areas, but we're going to have that control system. We'll get notifications of what lights are out, and then we'll be able to dispatch probably before anybody calls in.
Okay, good. Okay, thanks again.
Sure.
Chairman, please read item 10.
Flag drop box.
Okay, I'll turn over to Ms. Liz Hebert.
Thank you, sir. And I believe that I have a couple of ladies here with me tonight. I'm going to ask them to come on forward and introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about this project. They actually reached out to me, I guess, a month ago about this incredible opportunity. Oh my gosh, time is flying, and it's almost the end of 2020. About a great opportunity for us to take advantage of here at Lafayette Consolidated Government. I've seen this flag drop box around town, specifically at Red's Gym, where you can I know a lot of us with our American flags, they get worn over the years, and we're looking to replace it, but we don't quite know what to do with the one that we're discarding. We don't obviously want to dispose of it in the trash, and we're not quite sure what to do with it. They have these flag drop boxes that give you the ability to drop it in the box, and then they dispose of it in their way. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell them a little bit about it.
Perfect. I'm Robin Guillory. I'm an account executive for Acadian Hospice. So first, we would definitely like to thank Mayor President Guillory and his team, the members of the Lafayette City Council, and the Acadian Veterans Honor Guard. Thank you for working with us to establish an accessible and well-trafficked location for the public to donate their worn-out American flags in an honorable and meaningful way. This flag box serves to provide a deposit site for worn, tattered, or faded American flags to be honorably disposed through the American Legion's flag retirement ceremonies. Though we no longer have a chapter of the American Legion here in Lafayette, local chapters of Boy Scouts work with other chapters of the American Legion here in South Louisiana in coordinating and executing these flag retirement ceremonies. As a Level 4 partner of the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization's We Honor Veterans program, it is our hope that this donation box will serve as a link and tribute to the community of veterans in the city of Lafayette and all communities in South Louisiana. We extend our sincere gratitude to all veterans for their courage and fidelity to our great nation, and will continue to honor their legacy and calling as we, in turn, serve them in hospice care. Thank you, Ms. Liz. Thank you, Ms. Sidra, for making this happen and navigating us through the city council process. We really appreciate being able to donate this to our city. This is our volunteer coordinator, Kelly Singer. She's the one that's been doing all the background work for us and getting the box looking as great as possible. And thanks to Brian, who had it installed here and picked out the perfect spot. So if you have any questions, we'll be happy to take them.
Sure. What spot did y'all end up landing on? I know there were a couple options, maybe for the public to know where to come to drop it off.
Yes, so it's right outside here on the left side of the building. It's right under one of the street lamps, so
Perfect.
it's easily lit, and you can just drive by, drop the flag in the box, and be on your merry way.
Perfect. Can you make the mayor and CAO live, please? And again, I want to thank you for reminding me. Thank you, Sidra, for your help in finding the placement for this. Really appreciate it. So if you want to come and drop off your flag, you come to City Hall, located on University, and it's right in front, so pretty convenient. Sidra?
Yes, and I was going to give a little more context to the Dropbox location. For people who know, it's where you used to be able to drop your bill for LUS. So it's in a place where people are familiar. It's where the drop box used to be for bill payment. There's now a flag drop box.
And it's very brightly colored, so you
Yes.
can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
And we were happy to participate, and it was a very easy yes. We don't always get requests that are an easy yes, and this one was an easy yes. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
You, Mayor?
Yes, so again, thank you, Councilwoman Liz Hebert, for leading this. We appreciate it. And you ladies, thank you, my cousin from Evangeline Parish. We were freezing yesterday, so we had a chance to talk. Look, these ladies sat out there, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes in the freezing cold, waiting for the ceremony to present, and the Acadiana veterans, everything. So anyone looking at home, anybody out there, I don't know where the camera is, listen, we're a very proud community. We proudly fly our American flags, but we all get this question, how do we properly discard our flag? Well, these ladies took the oomph and the initiative, along with our veterans organizations, to get a place, So there's a couple of drop-off places in Lafayette, but the one here in City Hall, 705 West University, just pull on in. You have to drive by it. You can't miss it. Blue box, it's right outside. So thank you for your participation, your leadership. Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you.
And I received an email at 6:30 after the meeting started with the pictures. So that's why you all just received a text from me with the pictures in it of the box.
Okay, perfect. We'll be sure to share it on our social medias. Nanette?
Yeah, thank you, Liz, for taking care of this. I just have a question, and maybe I should know this already. How do you, they're in the box, then how do you dispose? What is the procedure? Did I miss, is like a ceremony?
It's kind of more of a partnership with, the American Legion has this flag retirement ceremony that they've had in place for many years. And they will go to one of the bases around here when they've collected, a reasonable number of flags. And they present the colors, you know, it's a lot of fanfare. They involve the Boy Scouts in it because it's a really great training opportunity as well. And then they burn the flags in an honorable and really meaningful way.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense.
And we will be collecting the flags out the box once a month. We'll come make rounds and collect, and about every 6 months, we'll get those over to the veterans to discard for us.
That's beautiful. All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Sidra, again.
Okay, ordinance for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Chairman, please read 11.
City Ordinance 107, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the fiscal year 2021 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $100,000 from the East Pont de Mouton Road Widening Project to the MPO LA 182 Renault Roundabout Match Project within the Public Works Department Capital Improvements Division for additional funding needed.
Motion and second. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Liz Hebert. Council discussion. None. Any public comments?
No, sir.
Let's vote on the council to adopt the ordinance.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Joint ordinance for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read 12.
Joint Ordinance 106, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council recognizing and ratifying the declaration and certification of a public emergency as stated in Emergency Ordinance Number Joint Ordinance 53, 2020, and in Ordinance Number Joint Ordinance 54, 2020 for Lafayette Parish regarding COVID-19, recognizing and ratifying the powers granted to the Lafayette Mayor President to execute any and all contracts necessary, incidental, convenient, or desirable to address this public emergency, and recognizing and ratifying any emergency appropriations for this purpose.
Okay, I'll need a motion and a second. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Okay, now we need to pay attention to this. Legal has proposed an amendment to remove the public bid law exemption found in Section 3. So I need a motion and a second from the council to amend. Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Andy Nakane. Okay, there it is. Council discussion on amendment. Ms. Hebert.
I have some questions, if you don't mind making administration hot.
Sure.
I apologize, I was out of town for a work event I couldn't miss, so I missed last month's meeting where there may have been some dialogue about this. Can you give me a little bit of understanding why this is coming to us?
Yes, and I'll ask Mr. Escott to opine after I'm done answering your question, but it's essentially it's a formality. My appreciation under our charter, I have certain emergency powers that are granted to me in certain circumstances. Also, certain relief that even in the form of contracts and things like that would need, or grants or opportunities available to us following these emergency declarations. So in these ordinances, and Mr. Escott, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we're asking the council to codify essentially the emergency powers that were executed in the past. To our people's benefit, basically.
Make Paul hot?
Yeah, she's doing it.
Yeah, these ordinances are a ratification of the declaration of the emergency under the charter. Without the ratification by these ordinances, it has a limited duration of only 30 days. And so these ordinances ratify that declaration and allow it to sustain in life, to allow the mayor president to engage whatever contracts are necessary to address that particular emergency. So it is restricted to the sense that it's related to the COVID-19 pandemic emergency.
Okay, so only COVID-19 situations?
In this particular ordinance, because I know you have a couple coming up related to hurricanes, but yes, the general idea being that those actions taken by him that you're ratifying in terms of the contracts have to be related to addressing that emergency.
I guess for me, is being a council member, I want to be able to have the opportunity to vote on contracts. And so far, my 5 years on the council, we've never had an issue scheduling emergency meetings to talk about things. So I do have some concerns. I see Nanette is up next. I'll wait and see if there's any more questions.
Ms. Cook?
Thank you. We were on the same page. I was just confused by this. I did not remember having seen this again after, because I know we had something initially right after, which, of course, Paul, explained to me that usually happens right after an emergency, which gives us a 30-day, window. And I guess this one kind of caught me off guard, so I wasn't sure in reading what were the changes, because I don't remember ever seeing this at this point in the game. Of course, we have had a lot of crazy things happen. We've had a lot of emergencies this year, so, there's a lot of things in here. So I guess my question would be first, what is different from this than we've done in the past in terms of, I guess, the public bid law, we're taking that out. Was that never in it before?
Oh, Councilwoman, this is my first year in office, and as you guys know, we've had several emergencies, and so I defer to legal on that. If maybe Mr. Escott can give us a comparative analysis on the past.
Sure. Depending upon the nature of the emergency, we have had language related to the public bid law, engaging the exemption to the public bid law in a prior emergency and ratification ordinance. For example, I think at one point, and you may recall, at one point after the incident involving the death of a particular person, don't recall his name, I apologize, but at the hands of a police officer, and we had some civil unrest, and we had a threat of potential riots in Lafayette. If you recall, we had an emergency ordinance passed because the Lafayette Police Department didn't have the appropriate tactical gear and SWAT gear, and it was necessary that they be purchased right away because the riot could have occurred that next day. And in that particular emergency ordinance, we had language that we're taking out of this one. We had language that exempted that from the public bid law because we didn't have time to publicly bid it and get the vests or helmets or whatever else they needed. And that public bid law allows that type of exemption when you don't have the ability to publicly bid it. This amendment in this ordinance is taking that out because the COVID-19 emergency, the nature of it, doesn't prevent us from publicly bidding. So we wanted to remove any confusion that those contracts, if required by law to publicly bid, they will be publicly bid. They're not going to be exempted from that.
And that, we're looking at that for all three of these?
I believe
as well?
so,
Okay.
yeah, I believe so. Apparently that sentence was inadvertently included in these ordinances from a prior form, and it was noticed after introduction and before final, and so we thought for clarity purposes, we needed to take them out.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense. I was concerned, just in, I would like to also have some kind of, at least pass before us these contracts before it happens, so, but no, I understand what we're doing here, so that makes sense. I appreciate the explanation, so I'm good with it.
So, Paul, I have a question.
Sure.
When you talk about public bid law, that's what we're talking about, and you are saying that we still have to public bid, or are you taking it out?
Still, if public bid law would require it to be publicly bid, we would have to publicly bid it. I'm taking out the exemption from that, meaning there's an exemption in the public bid law, like the SWAT example.
Right.
That if you just can't do it. But that emergency has to be, specific to cause that problem. These particular emergencies don't cause that problem, and they will be publicly bid if required by law, yeah.
So we will still need a contract then?
Still need to publicly bid a contract if in fact it
Right.
meets the threshold, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hebert?
I guess now I'm confused. Well, there's time to publicly bid, there's time for the council to vote on it. Because when you were giving me an example, it said or Nanette an example, it was they've got to do something, police riot gear in 24 hours. But we still have to go through the public bid law process, right? So that's going to take longer than 24 hours.
Right, and that's why I said if it meets the necessary thresholds for it to be publicly bid, then it would be publicly bid. But there's certain thresholds of dollar amounts that if it's less than, I don't recall what the specific dollar amount now is either $25,000 or $50,000. If it's below that, it requires just a certain number of quotes to meet the purchasing requirements. I know purchasing has certain requirements. But I don't know that I can answer the underlying question that you're asking. That may be
It's not my fault, they don't understand the
more
charter.
for the administration.
What's that?
Yes, sir. He asked you a question.
Oh, what's that, Mr. Escott? Sorry.
No, I was trying to answer Councilwoman Cook's, Abear's question about the timing of these contracts.
Right, and look, I always defer to legal on these kind of questions. So this is my appreciation, Mr. Escott. Please tell me if I'm incorrect. There are certain circumstances that there's not a lot of time to act. And I think you gave one or two examples.
Right.
And under those circumstances, correct me if I'm wrong, the charter allows me to act, basically. However, most circumstances are not like that. Most circumstances, we have time to do due diligence. Most circumstances, we have time to abide by our public bid laws, which we all support, and if we don't, we should support it. Most of the time, we have time for the legislative branch to talk about things and ask their constituents questions and come to the council meetings and have open dialogue. But what you're saying is, now that time, correct me if I'm wrong, but now that time has passed, and coupled with the emergency of the COVID situation, because it's a different type of emergency, we have time to have the open bids. We have time to be able to have these discussions, so that's why you took that out. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That the emergency didn't.
See, I have questions too, even though my administration's bringing it to you. So I appreciate this dialogue, and I know you guys are getting asked questions.
Right, well, Mayor, let me ask you this. So if you didn't bring it, you're saying your administrator, who's seeing the need for this?
Yeah, look,
Who's drawing this up? Where's this coming from? Is there something coming down the pipe that you're worried about? Or is there?
Well, come tell them.
Come
Go tell
them.
them. That's okay. Look, we're good. Look, I'm going to call up our city parish attorney. In all good points, and I wish you guys could hear this, or I can get extra sets of ears so that we can, but it also deals with FEMA reimbursements. And I'm glad you brought that up, Sitter, because correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Escott or Mr. Logan, if we don't have an emergency declaration, we can't ask for reimbursement. I think 75% that our award-winning finance department receive or can go and seek these reimbursements so that our city general fund is not depleted, because I am committed to protecting the finances of the city of Lafayette. So these legal authorities granted to me by not only our charter, but also the revised statutes, if I'm not mistaken, of the Louisiana legislature, signed into law by our governor in the past. Correct?
Correct.
All right.
So
Introduce
pursuant.
yourself.
Hi, Gregory Logan, City Parish Attorney. Pursuant to state law, the mayor president was required to issue an emergency declaration having to do with COVID. He later, at the request of the EOC, Mr. Stansberry, issued them in accordance with hurricanes.
That's right.
That's required for the emergency powers to kick in, for all the agencies, plus for FEMA reimbursement. This is being done, Melinda Phelps is on her way back to explain this is being done to move forward with FEMA reimbursement claims. So that's why this is on the agenda tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Without it, there's some hiccup in getting money back.
And I'll
from
piggyback
FEMA.
a little bit, because we have my friend still here that opined on commented on the parish council. I wish you guys would have heard her comments about limiting government, and I support that. Maybe if our state had some limitations like our home rule charter does, and our council is able to have these dialogues, our legislative branch is talking to its executive branch, maybe we wouldn't be in the situation we're in the state. But I just took the opportunity because I wanted to give a compliment to my friend over here. Thank you.
I guess my concern as a council member is that I'm responsible for voting on issues, and, we're all big believers in transparency and discussion, and that I fear that, not that I fear you're going to do something, that's not where my heart is, and where I haven't seen an issue yet or heard of an issue since I've been on the council where we've missed out on a grant or missed out on an opportunity because of timing or because of emergency. 3 years ago, whenever we had riots, we had an emergency meeting to be able to provide cameras for them, and they got them within, not even a week. So like that, I guess I've seen where we've done this and we've done it successfully, and I haven't heard an issue where it's been an issue. Not to say it's never been an issue, it's just never been brought to our attention that we've lost grant money or anything else. So I see Nanette's zooming back in, so I'll hold my thoughts for a minute. I'm still thinking about this.
Ms. Cook.
Right now, I've just
if I
got some
may, just
concerns
one-
about not having the opportunity for public discussion, for public discussion. This is great, right? The public is seeing this, we should be able to have a conversation and vote on it as a council. I
So
just, I
state
don't, I have a
law-
hard time with that.
And Mr.
State
May-
law
maybe this would-
provides.
Maybe this would help. What happens if they, I mean, literally, maybe this is a good question. What happens if they vote no? Maybe that would help them
I guess,
in
yeah.
there, you know?
Help me with that.
Melinda could be here shortly to explain the
Melinda, get
financial
over here.
inspect.
Stalling, we'll keep
No,
filibustering.
That's
she
right.
could, but the state law provides that the parish president or the mayor sign the emergency acts before a hurricane, for instance. So is what you're suggesting is that we call an emergency council meeting before and when a hurricane is imminent, to let the council vote for the mayor president to declare a state of emergency.
Well, we've had a record-setting year for hurricanes. We didn't have any issues. I'm not doubting you. I guess we have yet to be in an issue where this has had to come up. I would be the first one to vote yes. We stalled long enough.
Well, let's let
Yeah.
Ms. Cook say something right quick.
And look, and this is not how, I mean, the executive branch is, we have an executive branch for a reason, so that we can act and we don't deliberate and talk about it, you know, while bad things could possibly happen.
Right. No, we have those emergency ordinances in place for those situations like that. We need to do things immediately. I guess this is coming before us now after the fact, which was what kind of threw me off. So basically, if we take the public bid law out of there, are we back to where we were before in terms of if there is an emergency situation, the mayor still has the power to do what he's always had the power to do? So
These
I
are
guess I'm-
specific ordinances dealing with the declaration of emergency for COVID-19.
Right.
Then the next
understand
one's
that.
coming up are the hurricane.
I understand.
These specific ordinances do not require the public bid law waiver. That's why it was taken out. It's being taken out of these specific ones. Melinda?
Yeah, help me
Hi,
out here.
Melinda Phelps, I'm the controller. The reason the language is being taken out is because all these deal with our FEMA claims, and it doesn't matter whether we said we would not do something with state bid law, because when you file FEMA claims, you're required to adhere to the procurement laws, whoever's most stringent, from federal on down. And in this case, the federal bid laws are more stringent. We have to competitively procure in order for things to be eligible. So we had a meeting and we said that language was fine to take out, because when we go to evaluate our eligibility and all of that, if we can't competitively procure through the federal guidelines and the state guidelines, then we're required to do a cost-benefit analysis to show FEMA that it was impossible for us to competitively procure.
So this delays the process, is that what you're saying? By having the public bid law in there, it would delay the reimbursements?
It would actually, in some cases, delay us being able to do repairs.
Okay.
And in this case, yes, it is after the fact. I think it was, we had some other emergency ordinances that went early on, and I think some of the needed language was left out of those. We brought these ordinances. There is one here for the COVID-19. And what this is for is this allows us to, we filed a FEMA grant for COVID-19 expenses that weren't reimbursable under the CARES Act, about $40,000, I think. And this allows us to file the claim, bring in the revenue, and do needed budget revisions. There's also a very similar ordinance, one for Hurricane, it says Laura and Marco, although we had no impact from Marco. And then there's the other one now for Hurricane Delta.
Okay. All right, let me think about it for a minute, too, here.
Okay.
Marlene, what's your name again? I forgot.
Melinda.
Melinda, yeah. You said something about Hurricane Delta, and I do believe when we're having problems with garbage, debris being picked up.
There you go.
And I think that was one of the problems, because we wasn't eligible to get FEMA monies. That's why
We still haven't been declared for that. But when you do FEMA funding, there are categories of items, A through G. In this case, for Delta, we are declared for Category A, which is debris. We had a pre-positioned debris, competitively procured bid contract. So we are doing the debris pickup, but the ordinance for Delta will allow us to put that on the FEMA claim, negotiate with FEMA on getting reimbursement. It'll allow us, when we get reimbursed, to bring that in.
And also, to Councilman Lewis, I think, so we had this conversation with Republic. Look, I have some frustrations. It has nothing to do with you, Melinda.
Oh, I know about, yeah.
Yeah, because we wanted to use, all of you had frustrations. Everybody in the audience had frustrations about debris pickup, and we wanted to use Republic. And Councilman Lewis had called me and said, hey, why don't you get these trucks? I talked to him. I called finance, and, well, it wasn't publicly bid. The contract wasn't publicly bid, 10, 15 years ago. So we had to go and contract our other contractor to be able to get reimbursed because that was publicly bid. So I think those are two separate issues, but I just wanted to chime in because I'm very frustrated how that went down. And none of you were in office at the time. I wasn't in office at the time, but that contract is coming up for renewal, I think, in a year and a half, and I assure you it will be publicly bid. And maybe the same, vendor has the contract, but it will be after a public bid.
Well, and also, if I can, I guess, elaborate on that too, in the current contract, there is just a little clause that says that they would do emergency pickups and that kind of thing. So we could use them, but it wouldn't be eligible for FEMA assistance because the pricing, there's some rules about debris pickup and pricing per ton and monitoring and all that. But certainly if the waste management contract goes out again and we competitively do an RFP or a bid, we can certainly put that language in there so that it would pass FEMA vetting to be eligible if we ever had to do emergency debris pickup.
Mr. Naki?
Thank you. It's my understanding that this ordinance basically is bringing more accountability to what's going on in the process. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Cook?
Okay, I think I'm more comfortable with it now in terms of understanding what we're doing this for, in terms of maybe moving those reimbursements forward faster and/or, in those situations. So again, like I said, I'm a little more comfortable with it now. Maybe I understand it a little bit more, but I guess I'm still concerned that if the language in this ordinance refers to contracts, that they would be specific to, it's specific to, first of all, the first one's COVID. So any contracts would be specific to COVID-related issues. Am I understanding that?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, and so the other ones would be the same. Anything specific just to those particular, the Delta and the Marco, all those, they would be specific to those particular disasters.
Correct. We're amending
Okay.
those ordinances.
And again, I know that y'all are new, so was this, and I don't remember this, but and maybe Paul can help me here, is this type of a ratification something that we've ever done before? Yes, we've done it. Okay, and the language in this one is similar to, okay. So it's not that, it was just confusing. The timing of it confused me in terms of way after the fact. I wasn't sure what was going on.
These ordinances are usually all passed at the beginning or shortly after a disaster occurs. And I think what happened was we did an ordinance for the CARES Act, and it was very similar in language. And I think there was a clause that got left out that didn't allow it to extend to these other disasters. And so I think that's right, isn't that? I think it's right.
That's not right.
So anyway.
No, I wasn't part of that.
Anyway, there was some language left out of one of the CARES Acts, so we had to come back and make sure that we got these in. And the other thing is that we're fixing to close the year, so there are some financial things that we have to do so that they pass muster with the auditors.
Okay, well, thank you. That really, I appreciate your explanation because it threw me off in the timing of it as far as what it was. But so I'm definitely more comfortable with it. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I think the question is, and I'm gonna say it, I have no problem with it, is that we as council members, okay, and we like to be involved in decisions. We like to be involved in decisions. And when some come in front of us, regardless if it's public bidding or not, we should have a say-so in it. And I'm not trying to take anything from anyone, but I think this is where we're uncomfortable that it's not going to come in front of the council. That someone could make the decision, regardless if it's a emergency or not, and the council do not have any say-so. And I think, is there any way possible that it can be written that the council still have a little say-so in a decision of that magnitude?
On this matter, this is a, state law provides that the mayor or the parish president declares the state of emergency. For instance, Sidra reminded me the August 2016 floods. They were in the middle of the flood when Mayor President Robideau had to declare a state of emergency. So Craig Stansberry calls and says, we need a state of emergency for these reasons. GOSEP wants it for the Governor's Office of Emergency Preparedness. That's when we move forward.
Well, I can understand that, and I appreciate that. I do understand that part of emergency, what have you. He has a right to call for that. But what I'm talking about, anything else, as far as when it comes to the COVID matter or the trash matters and what have you, or the debris and what have you, everything that goes on the council, I believe we should have a part in it.
I believe they've all gone before the council, the debris bids.
Then what we are discussing right now.
This is to allow to file for a FEMA reimbursement because the original ordinance took care of the CARES Act. These are additional COVID relief funds coming from the federal government. These are required for us to move forward and make those claims. It has nothing to do with where the money was spent. This is to get, the money was spent on a prepositioned contract for debris removal that came forward years ago.
Well, and what we do too, because we want to make sure that everything stays FEMA eligible and we stay within the guidelines, and we want to make sure that we document everything properly. What we do is a series of pre-positioned contracts, which you see because they come through the contract awards report that you get. So we have several contracts out there. One is debris. We have a competitively bid debris. We actually have a pre-positioned contract that we're doing right now for ice. So you will see that. So when we have those pre-positioned contracts, it allows us, in this case, is to pretty much hit the ground running. We don't have to stop and go through that competitive process. So when we do a pre-positioned contract, like debris or ice, we have a fuel management contract too, and you've seen all of those as we did them because they come through on the contract awards report.
Ms. Hebert.
So I guess that leads me to is I want to know about these contracts. I want these kind of things to come forth in front of the council for discussion.
They already did, is what she's trying to tell you.
And
The fuel
a conversation
contract,
about ICE contract has come in front of the council?
You haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
that's a new one.
We're competitively doing that now, and I just know about it. But I think you've seen it before. It's really, I mean, that's a minor contract for ICE. But you would see it on the contract awards report.
I mean, I guess what it comes down to is my concern of conversations of the council not being a part of a conversation and getting a vote on something. That is my biggest concern. So I think we've had enough dialogue. Unless anybody else wants to add anything, they're welcome to, but.
Yeah, I like to say something.
ahead.
I like
I'm
to
done.
say something. No, I'd like to say something. I think Mr. Logan had said it earlier about emergency meetings. So,
Yes.
yeah, I think can't we have an emergency meeting to make a decision, the council be involved in it?
I think we're missing the point.
Yeah, we might
The
be.
fuel, for instance, the emergency fuel contract is in place way ahead of time because we don't know when the disaster is going to strike. And we have performance guarantees. We can't wait for the hurricane to find somebody to show up with 18-wheelers worth of fuel to keep our LUS trucks running or our generators running. So these contracts are done in advance, and they do come or have come before the council. So the ICE contract's being competitively bid, and it's going to come before the council. Well, we're not going to need ICE next week. We need it for the next disaster, the next emergency. So I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure if I go look, there's an ordinance approving the pre-positioned fuel contract. There's an ordinance approving the debris pickup. if you don't have that in place, we can't call an emergency meeting the day after the hurricane and say, we need some gasoline or diesel for our trucks, where do we get it? That's all put in place ahead of time. So I think that's where the disconnect is. And I think the council's already voted on that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you can't get reimbursed by FEMA if you don't have those position contracts, correct? Or
You can,
it's
but
difficult.
But you have to go through, and the other issue, I'll give you an example of debris, for Hurricane Delta, had we not had a pre-positioned debris contract, it's very unlikely that we could have found someone because all of the resources are already being claimed by Hurricane Laura and Lake Charles.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, Melinda, just for efficiency of time here, I don't know if our Public Works Director's here, and our LUS Director, our TRAB Director, and our Drainage Director. We were in constant communication as Hurricane Delta approached with our vendors that we had this pre-positioned contract with that was been approved either by this council, I think it was approved City Parish Council a long time ago, but regardless, approved by our legislative branch, and thank God we had that, because had we had to stop what we were doing, call an emergency meeting, ask for permission to enter into a contract, which you guys already given authority for, and then scratch the country to find a vendor that may be able to help us, our citizens would have been calling you then, I promise you, and they would have been calling us too. So good work by all our directors and previous councils for giving us that authority, and very good plan too.
Any more council discussion? You feel comfortable about it? I say you're ready. Okay.
We are on the amendment?
Yeah, we just gonna, Ms. Veronica, any public comments on the amendment? No public comments on the amendment, okay? Let's call for a vote from the council to amend. Let's make sure about the amendment now. What we are amending is the public bid law exemption found in section 3. That's what the amendment is about. Taking out, am I saying this correct? Remove the public bid law for the exemption. That's what the amendment is for. Correct, Mr. Paul? Correct me?
Yes, you're removing the language referring to the use of the public bid law exemption. You're correct.
You can ask all the questions you need to.
I'm sorry, I asked one more question. Okay, so by removing this public...
Hold on a second, Ms. Thing. Okay, you're ready.
By removing this public bid law, if we do exemption, so basically, that's what the amendment is. So if we want the public bid to be in there, we vote against the amendment. Well, this is
No.
removing.
See, that's very confusing.
Okay.
Removing the exemption language, putting it back in.
Okay.
Because the federal, as she explained, the federal and the state regulations. So the exemption doing away with compliance with the public bid law is being removed. So now the requirement to do a public bid is going to be in the document.
You're actually strengthening the ordinance by removing the language because it doesn't give the mayor the ability to make a contract in exception to bid law.
Okay, I understand it better now.
Repeat that, Melinda?
I said, you're actually strengthening the ordinance.
Yeah.
You're actually strengthening the ordinance by removing the language, because as written now, the mayor would have the ability to enter into a contract for emergency services that was in exception to bid law. So if you take the language out, then that puts it back that he has to follow bid law to make emergency contracts.
And that would be a yes vote for the amendment.
You would,
Yes.
I wasn't here before that, but
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
if a yes vote removes the language, then that's what it does.
Okay.
Removes the exemption language.
As I was
Mr.
saying,
Nakane.
this amendment and this ordinance is about accountability. It's bringing more accountability to the money coming into Lafayette. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Ms. Hebert.
I guess I'm still trying to understand. The second time you said, help me understand how, maybe I'm completely missing this, but it's too close to Christmas, too close to the end of the year. 2020 has been crazy. Explain to me how this is bringing more accountability.
It's requiring him to go to bid instead of just signing contracts.
Yes, you're right, yeah. It is too close to 2020.
It's forcing him to go to bid for bids, the public bids, instead of just signing contracts, spending the money.
Remove the exemption,
Which the bid.
which is what the amendment
Tells
is.
everybody
Which is what the amendment.
public bids.
Ms. Abear.
She wants to tell you something. Go ahead, Melinda.
Oh, I think you understood, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You want to say something, Melinda? Sure.
The amendment.
Okay, now we are voting on the amendment. And the amendment is to remove the public law bid exemption,
Right.
the exemption from public law.
Yes
Okay?
retains public law.
So the exemption, you're removing that.
Right, right.
Okay, that's, okay, where we are. And we say there was no public comments, right? Call for a vote from the council to amend.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Okay. Call for a vote from the council to amend. Okay, did that. Council discussion on ordinance as amended. Let's have a discussion on the ordinance as amended. No one wants to have a discussion. Okay. Ms. Williams, any public comment on the ordinance as amended?
No, sir.
Call for a vote from the council to adopt as amended.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved. Joint Ordinance 107, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council ratifying the declaration of state of local disaster and/or emergency for Lafayette Parish regarding Hurricane Marco and Hurricane Laura, issued by Joshua S. Guillory, Lafayette Mayor President, on August 23, 2020, recognizing and ratifying the powers granted to the Lafayette Mayor President to execute any and all contracts necessary, incidental, convenient, or desirable to address this public emergency, and recognizing and ratifying any emergency appropriations for this purpose.
Here I need a motion and a second. Motion by Mr. Nakane. Second by Ms. Cook. Okay, legal has proposed an amendment to remove the public bid law exemption. Remove the public bid law exemption found in section 3. I need a motion and a second from the council to amend. Motion by Mr. Nakane. Second by Ms. Cook. Discussion on amendment.
This is the exact same that you just did.
Okay. Andy, repeat your answer to Ms. Liz, please, about what you're saying, more accountability. Hold on, let me make sure I can hear you clearly.
When the public bid law, so that the administration has to be accountable for the money spent. They have to go to public bid for this money to be spent now. Prior to this ordinance going through, he could just sign contracts as necessary. This will require an accountability where the public will see where the money's being spent and to whom it's being spent to.
Okay, thank you. Like you. Okay, right? We leaning on you. You came in and talked, so we leaning on you to make sure your guidance is in the right direction.
Yes.
Okay. Public comments, Ms. Williams? Let's vote on the council to amend.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yeah.
Motion to amend is approved.
Any discussion on the ordinance as amended? Public comments on ordinance amendment, nobody, okay?
No, sir.
Let's vote, council to adopt as amended.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? Yes. Motion to adopt as amended is approved. Joint Ordinance 108, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council ratifying the declaration of state of local disaster and/or emergency for Lafayette Parish regarding Hurricane Delta, issued by Joshua S. Guillory, Lafayette Mayor President, on October 7, 2020, recognizing and ratifying the powers granted to the Lafayette Mayor President to execute any and all contracts necessary, incidental, convenient, or desirable to address this public emergency, and recognizing and ratifying any emergency appropriations for this purpose.
Motion and a second? Motion by Mr. Nakane. Second by Ms. Cook. Legal has proposed an amendment to remove the public law bid exemption, found in Section 3. I need a motion and a second from the council to amend. Motion by Mr. Nakane. Second by Ms. Cook. Council discussion on amendment. Mr. Nakane. What's your comments again? Yeah?
It's just to remove the public
Bid law?
emergency law and putting it to public bid on spending the money, and we'll have more accountability.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, any public comments? Need a vote from the council to amend?
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Council discussion on ordinance as amended? Has none. Public comments on ordinance as amended? Vote from the council to adopt as amended.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved. Joint Ordinance 109, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council, amending Chapter 98 of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government Code of Ordinances relative to the rules and regulations applicable to the age and license requirements for users of motorized bicycles and electric-assisted bicycles.
Motion and a second? Motion by Ms. Hebert, second by Mr. Nakane. Council discussion? I see there's none. Public comments?
No, sir.
Let's call for the vote to adopt adopt the ordinance.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 110, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council, amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $11,667.28 in home investment partnerships funds received from the payoff of deferred payment loans in the Housing Rehabilitation Program and appropriating funds within the Community Development Department.
Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Nakane. Council discussion? See none. Public comments?
No, sir.
Let's vote to adopt the ordinance.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 111, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council modifying Chapter 89 of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government Code of Ordinances by providing for the new Lafayette Development Code.
Motion and a second. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Development and Planning has proposed an amendment to correct typos in Article 2 and 3. Need a motion and a second from the council to amend. Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Nakane. Council discussion on an amendment? I see there is none. Ms. Williams, any comments from the public?
We do have 3 speakers signed in. I'm not sure if they want to speak to the amendment or the ordinance. So anyone who signed in, do you want to speak to the amendment? You'll have an opportunity to speak to the ordinance. Okay, no one wants to speak,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Sure. Okay, let's vote on the call for vote from the council amend.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Council discussion on I'm sorry. Yeah, how many
Andy,
pages
I
are
saw
there?
that ordinance, so when you said that,
How-
that's
how
why I
many
just
pages
burst
are
into
there?
laughter.
You about to be?
We would be here till tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Look, you want to show him Jeremy? He reads so
He's ready, huh? Yeah, you probably are. Ready. Council discussion on ordinance as amended. Okay, I see the mayor would like to have a conversation. Yes, sir.
Very briefly, Mr. Chair, I just want to thank the city council, also our parish council, thank our parish planning commission, our city planning commission. This repeal and replace into the Lafayette Development Code was unanimously passed by our parish planning commission, our city planning commission. It was also unanimously passed by our parish council members. And, I want to thank Mary Slyman, thank Ann Famosa, who serves as our interim director. We also had a previous director, Danielle Bro, who also did a good job leading us into this first part of this process. I want to thank the more than 39 members of the very diverse committee. We had representation from every corner of the city and unincorporated areas. We had council participation, so I appreciate you guys weighing in and giving some feedback and representing your concerns of your respective districts. And just, this is a good day for Lafayette, and we do ask respectfully for your support.
Okay. Council discussion on ordinance as amended. No one. Any public comments?
We do have 3 speakers, the first of which is Burley Pellerin. And he will be followed by Brian Clement.
Good evening. My name is Burley Pellerin. I'm a local business owner, both in the city and the parish. And I'm also currently serving as the chairman of the City Planning and Zoning Commissions. Merry Christmas. I would like just to urge you all to consider adoption of the Lafayette Development Code. As it stands now, the LDC has received, as our mayor president has pointed out, unanimous approval from both the city and the parish planning commissions. The LDC allows for a more tailored case-by-case evaluation of development rather than a one-size-fits-all type of code, making it much more user-friendly. The changes will increase efficiency of the development process, which of course will then directly affect developers and streamline those processes. One big item that the committee, the very diverse committee, requested was the ability for Lafayette Consolidated Government to be able to work with developers on the regulations when dealing with sites that may have constraints. The staff is then able and now can make smart decisions that fulfill the intent of the regulation and again streamline the process, making everything, again, pro-business, pro-development, a lot more streamlined. So I just offer my urging of you to consider adoption. Thank you.
Brian Clement, followed by Adrian Fontenot.
My name is Brian Clement. I was one of the 39 members that was on the committee. Also a board member of the Home Builders Association, a home builder and land developer. I think we came up with some great ideas for the new code. It is more user-friendly than the old code, and we ask that you guys consider adopting it. Thank you.
Final speaker, Adrian Fontenot.
Good evening. My name's Adrienne Fontenot, and I'm the CEO of the Acadian Home Builders Association. And I just wanted to come to you this evening and again encourage and urge you to support this ordinance. I too was one of the 39 members on the task force that was created and developed to go through this with a fine-tooth comb. We had members of our organization that served on each of the subcommittees that was tasked with just coming up with suggestions that will allow our members to continue to grow and develop this neighborhood, the neighborhoods and this community where we all live and love to live. So I appreciate your time and you're allowing us, Mayor President, to serve in the capacity that will provide this document to us. And as I've shared with Mary too, we just really appreciate the opportunities that y'all have given us to work with her department and with you all as council members and with your administration. And we really look forward to growing Acadiana. Thank you so much.
No other speakers.
Let's vote from the council to adopt as amended.
District 3?
Oh, yeah, so, hold on a second, Jeremy.
I just had one comment.
Go ahead.
I just want to really thank everybody participating in this. I like to call it the good neighborhood code. Basically, we create a situation. We're going to work close with developers, builders, anybody, entrepreneurs, business owners, but yet we're going to protect the interests of the cities and the city and the parish and everybody else involved. Because we still have to be concerned with drainage and roadways and accessibility. There's a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration without being so stringent that we can't discuss and deal with the process. I've had so many people say positive things about this new Lafayette Development Code coming through. And again, I want to thank you guys for putting such a hard effort into it, everybody who worked so hard to get this done. Thank you.
Okay. Council, let's vote to adopt as amended.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved.
Consider appointment by council as a whole to boards and commission. Jeremy, please read number 18.
Appointment to the Board of Zoning Adjustment for the remainder of an unexpired 3-year term through January 30th, 2022. This is an alternate position. Applicants must be City of Lafayette residents.
Resumes submitted for consideration are as follows. Brian Clements, Angelique Hernandez. I need someone to nominate.
Mr. Chair, before we get nominations, Mr. Clement, Brian Clement, he is here and he did sign in to speak. Would you like to speak?
Oh, the bell rang already.
He's a
Time's up.
nominee.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Brian Clement. I'm applying for the vacancy on the Boza Board. I have lived in Lafayette for 32 years now. I've been a home builder and land developer for 20 years. I have a good working knowledge of how Boza works, what it stands for, and I think I can lend a lot of knowledge to it, and I'm asking for your consideration to fill that vacancy. Thank you.
Okay.
No other speakers, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
so we can do it for nomination?
Nominations, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Ms. Cook?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Claymore.
Okay. I'd like to nominate Ms. Hernandez. There's no more nominations. Council discussion?
You could vote by name once he
Yeah,
calls the
that's-
roll.
Any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's vote by names.
District 4?
Claymore.
District 1?
Ms. Hernandez?
District 2? District 3? Neither.
It requires a vote of 3.
3. Uh-oh.
So we'll call the roll one more time. See if you consider changing a vote to get 3. If not, we could put it on a future agenda.
Put it on when?
A future agenda when
Okay, yeah,
Mr.
when-
Lazar returns.
Call for the vote. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's just deferred. I don't think anybody gonna change their vote. Just wait till another time. Well, we can call for the vote. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's vote.
District 4?
Claymore.
District 1?
Ms. Hernandez?
District 3? District 2? District 3?
Hernandez.
Okay. So we'll put it on a future agenda for reconsideration.
Okay. Introductory ordinance. I'd like to remind everyone that item number 20 is being deferred indefinitely prior to introduction. I need a motion and a second to introduce in global item 19 and 21 through 23. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Hebert. Jeremy, please read.
City Ordinance 108, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council approving a conditional use permit to allow a drive-through restaurant in a mixed-use neighborhood zoning district, case number ZON 2020-2022, 604 East Willow Street conditional use permit located generally north of East Willow Street, west of Louisiana Avenue, and east of Pecan Orchard Road. City Ordinance 110, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the Unified Development Code so as to reclassify the case number ZON 2020-24, select properties of Renee Street, Catherine Street, Whittington Drive, and Oak Crest Drive rezoning located generally west of St. Julian Avenue, south of Johnson Street, and east of Ronald Boulevard, the particular parcels being rezoned from commercial heavy to residential mixed. City Ordinance 111, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the fiscal year 2021 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing the use of sales tax capital improvement city prior year fund balance in the amount of $52,000 and increasing the use of bond proceeds in the amount of $228,013.95 and appropriating within the Lafayette Fire Department to be used for media presentation, maintain 23 libraries, and complete the project for replacement of Station 3. City Ordinance 112, 2020, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Council amending the fiscal year 2021 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $250,000 from the Frem-Bustani Extension Project to the Johnson Street Relighting Project within the Public Works Department Capital Improvements Division for additional funding needed.
Comments from the public concerned above introductory ordinance?
No, sir.
Council discussion? Okay, vote to introduce in Global 19 and 21 through 23.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to introduce in Globo is approved.
Joint introductory ordinance. I need a motion and a second to introduce in Global item 25 and 26. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook. Jeremy, please read.
Joint Ordinance 112, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a fiscal year 2021 cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Lafayette, the Parish of Lafayette, and the Interim Marshal for the City Court of Lafayette. Joint Ordinance 113, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $2,645,011 from the FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Program, FMA PJ 06 LA 2018-33, grant funds received from the State of Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness for the acquisition or elevation of severe repetitive loss properties and appropriating within the Development and Planning Department.
Comments from the public concerned above introductory joint ordinance?
No, sir.
Okay. Council discussion? I see there's none. Let's vote to introduce in Global items 25 and 26.
District 2? Yes. District 3? District 4?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to introduce in Globo is approved.
Okay. Comments from the public. Comments from the public on any other matters not on the agenda. Ms. Williams, are there any public comments?
We do have one speaker.
Okay. This is the time to speak about topics relative to the City of Lafayette that are not included as agenda items. No debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. For efficiency and to allow everyone the opportunity to speak, questions should be submitted in writing to the clerk of the council. The 3-minute rule will be in effect. Ms. Williams.
The speaker is William Teeley.
Mr. Teeley.
Hello, my name is Will Teeley. I live in City District 2. Councilman Andy Nakhan represents me, and I want to say happy birthday to Councilwoman Cook, and I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday. I would like to comment on the contract that Mayor President signed with Crime Fighters LLC to place surveillance cameras throughout the city of Lafayette. I would like to ask the City Council to please pass a resolution terminating that contract, or at the very least amending it to put into place some basic civilian oversight and to address privacy concerns. I would like to list out some of the numerous issues I have with the contract and why I'm asking the council to terminate it. Number one, the council was signed secretly by Mayor President Guillory, even though Mayor President Guillory has promised more transparency with his administration. We are not starting from a place of trust here. Number two, what civilian oversight is there, if any? Say, for example, a camera is installed on a light pole in front of my home. What remedy do I have? Who do I speak to? This private company doesn't owe me anything. We've all seen spy movies where there's a scene with an unmarked white van parked in front of somebody's home, and the fear that that instills because the people know they're being spied on. These cameras are no different than that. Number three, these powers can be heavily abused by this company. In my opinion, this contract makes the CEO of Crime Fighters one of, if not the most powerful man in Lafayette. Not saying that he will, but he can, on a whim, harass any citizen he wants. Be sure not to cut him off in traffic. Number four, what about our property values? How challenging is it going to be for me to resell my home if a Crime Fighters camera is pointing directly at it? Nobody's going to want to buy my home after that. And number five, what about cameras being installed near schools or playgrounds? How do we know there isn't some pervert at Crime Fighters or at a company that purchases the footage from Crime Fighters, watching where children go and leave school? Again, there is no citizen oversight or basic privacy protections on the footage that's recorded. Council, I ask you to be advocates for your constituents. So I ask this council to pass a resolution terminating that contract, or at the very least, amend the contract to offer civilian oversight and basic privacy protections, such as restricting the cameras from not being placed in front of schools or playgrounds, or the cameras being placed in areas that are zoned residential. Thank you.
Ms. Cook.
Mr. Tilley, first of all, thanks for my birthday wish. I appreciate that. But also, I want you to know that I'm not the only one I know, that we've been going back and forth. I've had several emails with legal, because I have some of the very same questions that you have. And if I'm understanding, we are going to bring this forward in January as a discussion item to maybe get some of those answers, because I do also have some of those same concerns. And so we're looking for those answers as well. And I guess since you brought it up, I do have a question. And I'm not sure if it has begun yet, but have we begun putting the cameras on our poles as of yet?
Not as of yet, but I'll hold my other comments until you're done, just out of respect.
I'm sorry, what?
Not as of yet, but I do have a few other comments.
Oh, when I finish?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, okay, well, that's all. I just was curious if we've actually moved that forward yet, okay. But yeah, we have asked them the same questions, and we just got an unredacted copy just yesterday, which we were looking for as well. So yes, we're going to be looking at it, so thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And look, thank you, Mr. Teeley. I appreciate you coming up, too. I think you raised some pretty good points, actually. It's ironic because I'm the one that asked for the contract. Because I'm as the mayor president, I'm tasked with keeping our community safe. LPD reports to me. I take it very serious. Glad to have great stakeholders like our new marshal and our sheriff's deputy and other agencies within the parish. But a lot of the concerns that Mr. Teeley said, I have those same concerns too. So the contract that I demanded for anything happened was to protect privacy, to make sure that we're, not violating civil liberties and things like that. I also wanted to make sure this was not anything like we had with the red flags and the speed cameras, which I was confident it wasn't, but, I want to make sure because I know that you guys probably, or anybody listening, you probably are wondering the same thing. So this is not red flags, not issuing citations, anything like this. It's no cost to the taxpayers. It gives us eyes on the most crime-prone areas. Unfortunately, we don't have a large enough police department to get boots on ground every single corner, but this is my recommendation. Instead of making a discussion item, maybe send in a resolution, as Mr. Teely said, and put exactly what you want and, in your request, and I definitely want to hear back from you. If you want to keep it in the form of a discussion item, that's fine too. We can hold off on putting any cameras until we have that discussion item, but if you feel adamant about it, I think you should exercise your right to issue a resolution, make your will be known, and send in your request to me, and I'll definitely consider it.
Ms. Cook?
Thank you. I appreciate the response, and I guess I would like to keep it still as a discussion item personally, because I feel like there are several questions that, just need to be answered, and I'm not opposed to cameras. I think cameras are very useful in solving crimes, and that's not the situation that I think any of us are opposed to. I guess it's just the manner in which we protect our citizens as far as any information that this third party is actually having access to, and I just need to understand the difference between this contract, which is also involving a third party, and the Red Flex contract, which is a third party contract, which had to come before us. So I guess I was just, again, need to understand the difference between those two in terms of why this did not have to come before us. And just, I just have several questions. I'm not going to bore you with them tonight, but I do think it would be good that we keep it as a discussion item, just so we can all understand better where we're going with this. So
Very, very valid questions. I think we deserve to have those answers in public. I will also say another note, also our body cam. No one's arguing that we shouldn't have body cameras on our police officers. Matter of fact, I think we should have more, okay? Have it as transparent as we possibly can, but that data is also managed by a third party as well. And I think part of the answer is because there's no monetary change, it's no additional cost to our taxpayers. But look, let's let legal answer all those questions, and in this discussion, we invite the public to also come in and opine, and if we need to amend the contract, I'm all, like I said, I'm the one that required it. I didn't want to just say yeah, and I want to make sure those protections are there as well. So good. I think this is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Seaver?
Confirming with Veronica, we do have it on which council agenda is it already on?
It's on the city council agenda, and Chairman Pat Lewis has requested that it be placed on as a discussion item.
What date is that?
January 5th.
All right, so the public can know January 5th.
January
That's something
5th
we'll
at
be
6
discussing.
o'clock. At 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, open to the public. Public can come and have 5 minutes to speak on it.
3 minutes.
I'm sorry, yes, 3 minutes to speak on it, and of course, email any of us and let us know. I think echoing what everyone's saying is I agree with cameras. I watch far too much unsolved mysteries to be paranoid and not want cameras everywhere. But for me, the concern is about that we didn't go to bid to see, because this person is a private citizen, not a company, and I have other questions myself, and we again won't go into that. I think I would have liked to have seen a bid process, see what other companies could have done. I appreciate your extending the offer to do a possible amendment to that contract, but we'll go over that January 5th, 6 p.m. council meeting.
Yes.
All right, thank you all.
During the regular city council meeting,